Betting favorites to win the ACC this year. I'll give you some background. Florida State, Clemson, Miami, in that order, according to sportsbooks. So if you're betting, those are the favorites: Florida State, Clemson, Miami. When it comes to the triangle teams, if you're interested in local teams, NC State is 4th, so right behind those 3 I just mentioned. UNC is 8th. Duke is 13th when it comes to betting odds in the sports books. Wake Forest, after that, we don't have to get into details. I'll talk you through my pick, and then, Dennis, you can get to yours. It is wide open. I really think this year in the ACC, wide open. We talked about how many teams received first-place votes in the preseason media poll for the ACC standings. It's 5 or 6. Actually, I think it's 7, but 5 legitimate ones because there were a couple throwaways. Here's the thing, though. There's a big flaw with every team. Florida State, I'm not trusting DJ Uiagalelei until I see it.
A lot of new pieces there.
Clemson, no transfers, which seems like they're just passing up on talent that everyone else in the conference is accepting. Miami never lives up to the hype.
Nope.
NC State hasn't won 10 games under Dave Doran. Hasn't won 10 games in the last 21 years.
It's been a minute for them.
SMU, step up in competition into the Power 5.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how that's going to go. Louisville, the passing game is a little worrisome, and a whole bunch of new transfers. I could go on and I could go through the entire ACC, and there's like one big, but.
UNC, who's their quarterback?
Who's your
all
quarterback?
Your skill guys are back.
Can you get after the quarterback? That did you in a lot last year. So what you're kind of doing when you pick who you think is going to win the ACC, or when you pick who you think is going to play in the ACC, is you're picking your favorite flaws. You're picking the ones that you don't think matter as much, that you're most okay with, or that the rest of these teams can most overcome. I've gone back and forth on this a bunch of times. But on the eve of the ACC kind of debut, week 0, 3 teams playing, my ACC championship game is Florida State versus NC State.
Really? Okay.
With the acknowledgement that I'm not super high on DJ Uiagalelei, but their running game is going to be something serious up there. And I think if they learn early enough that DJ Uiagalelei is not the next Jordan Travis, I think they can work on hiding him. I think they can kind of make his job easier by leaning on the defense and leaning on the running game, and they're talented enough to win a majority of their ACC games kind of on that path. NC State is my other team in the final. And, I'm actually – I wonder if Dave Doran's even happy that I made that choice. Or if he's going, another media person hyping us up.
But we'll get to the audio at some point later. He doesn't like preseason polls and rankings.
Well, actually, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and play it right now?
Let me pull it up.
All right, there we go. NC State has some hype that they haven't had in a very long time. Actually, going back a few years, but they didn't live up to it with the Devin Leary year. We have the audio. Here's Dave Doran.
You guys know me well enough to know that I'm not going to base the strength of our schedule on where we're ranked in the preseason or where they're ranked. We'll see. When we get to these teams at the end of the year, and when we get to the end of the year, that's where you're going to find out how good they are. I wish they'd get rid of preseason rankings, personally, and, start ranking teams midway through the year when they've earned who they are. I know that wouldn't be good for you guys because you'd have nothing to talk about probably, but, it's a lot of false stuff.
Yeah, Dave, if you're willing to come on the show once a week to give us something to talk about, then we'll do away with ratings. Just give us something spicy once a week, and that'll fill the time. I kind of agree with him. It's just never going to happen because it's an entertainment product and you need fans involved.
And it's been around for decades.
But I get what he's saying. I think Clemson in all the preseason polls is only ahead of NC State because they're Clemson.
Yeah, the name on the helmet.
Yeah, I think if you were to switch the players, if you took NC State's team, put them on Clemson, particularly the offense, and vice versa, I think Clemson is probably a little bit higher than they are right now, which is why I'm putting NC State above Clemson, above Miami, above these teams in the ACC championship game. Now, the question we asked on our final 99 questions about the college football season was not just who's going to play in the championship, it's who's going to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm being a homer to the triangle team here. I'm taking State.
Really? Okay.
I'm taking NC State. And here's why. It's got some kind of a proverb. I'm leaning hard on the cliches today. It's some kind of a proverb. To get something you've never gotten, you have to do something you've never done. So I'm acknowledging Dave Doran has never won 10 games. He's never won an ACC championship. But it also seems like this offseason he did a lot of things he's never done before. So I think it's fair to expect a result that he's never gotten before. Right? It's kind of the reverse, or the extenuation of that proverb. NC State is known for not winning the offseason, right? They're the team that takes the recruits that aren't as highly ranked as other teams and then takes pride into developing them better and beating the teams that had the higher recruiting rankings. That's what they're known as, right? They don't necessarily win the offseason. They take pride in, even if we don't win the offseason, we're going to find a way to have success during the season. This year, they won the offseason. They won the portal. They went out and spent the money, brought in the big names. They got the guys from Ohio State and Notre Dame. They got the ACC stud in Jordan Waters. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the portal. They won the offseason. So I think it's finally time to maybe expect for them to get what they've never gotten, because this offseason they've done what they've never done. And I have no idea if all of my past tenses were proper there.
We'll go with it.
Sounded good in my head, and I'm rolling with it on a Friday.
By the way, Forest City Kitty on our YouTube live stream says Clemson is taking back the ACC.
Second betting favorite.
I have to say, for my prediction, I have a three-way tie for first in the ACC in the regular season.
Okay.
I have one loss NC State, one loss Clemson, and one loss Florida State. Based off tiebreaker, because I think Clemson beats NC State. That's their only conference loss.
Okay, that's week 4.
Clemson loses to Florida State in the regular season, so
okay.
Florida State has that head-to-head win. And then Florida State drops one to Miami. But I think Miami also loses to like Virginia Tech and Louisville.
Okay.
So they're not in it.
I like
so three-way tie based off head-to-head. Unfortunately, NC State gets left out. Clemson lost the regular season game. Clemson takes the rematch, wins the ACC title.
So you and, what was it, Florida City Kitty? Are on the
Forest City Kitty, yes. Apparently, we're on the same wavelength.
You guys are on the same
wavelength.
But
I think it's Clemson. A three-way tie for first in the league. NC State's the odd team out.
I will say I was all the way out on Clemson until we talked with and interacted with Klubnik at ACC Kickoff, and I went, "Oh, he's got that thing, doesn't he? He's got the poise, the whatever it is.
Yeah.
He just seems to be very comfortable. So I'm not as far out on Clemson. I still don't think they make the ACC championship, obviously, but I don't hate the pick." So there you go. If you want to get your predictions into us.
It's crazy to think that NC State could go 11-1 and not make the ACC championship game.
Yeah,
it's possible.
You just heard a bunch of State fans go, and that's what's going to happen too.
We're finally going to get double-digit wins, and now we're able to can't even make the ACC championship.
You might get a nice consolation prize if you go 11-1 and don't make the ACC championship game, and that might be a trip to the college football playoff without having to play another game and potentially look bad or get hurt or whatever.
It's possible.
Consolation prize. I know you want that conference championship, though. Don't get me wrong.